and then Adrienne later on tonight.
I'm representing the social justice team, who has been very, very busy. We're very active, and we work individually as well as a team to promote peace and justice throughout our city and world. Our members include Dale Tucker, Betty McEntee, Frank Vogon, Margaret Graves, David Graves, Doug Lowry, Joy Henry, Leslie Picken, and Kat Goodman. Sharon Smith and Bobby Thomason have joined us to work with preparations for our new refugee family. Team members, feel free to add or retract or anything that I might say in this talk at this time. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them as I speak. We want to thank Jordan, Andrea, Bobby, Lillian, and Bill in all their support and help in our endeavors. 3 recent activities that we have worked together as a team and as a church were the books read sponsorship by Guns to Gardens. The book was the Second Amendment. Many of you came, and we appreciated everybody being here. Many others helped with welcoming people into our church. There were about 80 people here, and it was a very good discussion. Charles Baudelaire was one of our panelists and did a wonderful job. We did have 5 panelists, and then we had a question and answer period after that. The second thing that we have been working on was the coat drive for KRM. We received many new and gently used coats that were given to the refugees who have come to Louisville. And then also, we conducted the postcard blitz when we encouraged our congregation to write to legislators to vote for the CAR bill, the Crisis Aversion and Rights Retention Bill. It's a bill to temporarily transfer firearms from people in mental health crisis. The legislator names and addresses and a script were given to the congregation, and about 200 postcards were sent to our legislators. Betty, do you have any update on what's going on with that?
Thank you. I may have already mentioned this before, but the bill has been filed at Senate Bill. Been assigned to a committee, and so the calls now are to Senate leadership, and that the leadership because she is in Eastern Jefferson County, she serves that part. That's part of her. Call anybody in the Senate that would be helpful. Derek, the line 372-718, and Robert Stivers is the chair. That's okay. And along with Julie Rocky Adams, David Givens, Damon Thayer, and Mike Wilson are on the leadership. And then we do, in your information you had before, there was a list of all the members of the Senate Judiciary Committee. So if it is assigned, it's going to be really important to contact them. And especially, there are several people on the committee who will probably support the bill, but there are a few that would especially need for them to be contacted. So especially Philip Wheeler and Matthew Deneen, John Schickel, Robert Stivers, Brandon Storm, and Johnny Turner. Those would be the ones that we still might need to encourage to vote for the bill if you're interested in supporting it. So, thank you.
And is there any way we could get that in the Friday notes to let everybody know who they need to contact if they would like to? Our current emphasis right now is sponsoring a new refugee family through KRM with the help of the co-sponsorship and volunteer manager at KRM, Joseph Caminiti, who was with us a couple of weeks ago. He is a delightful man, and in the past he was director of orchestral studies at West Chester, University of Pennsylvania, music director of the Delaware County Symphony, conductor of the Youth Orchestra of Bucks County, music director of the Cairn Symphony Orchestra. He found his calling to present social justice emphases through his music, which led him to a change of career and to the KRM. We would like to invite the whole congregation to become a part of this very important endeavor with a new refugee family through money and material goods, as well as preparing the apartment for the family, meeting them at the airport, helping with groceries, and getting to know the family by becoming supportive of the family through individual and church activities and friendship. Our social justice team was convened in 2005, our current one. We made a covenant statement at that time, which reads, "The purpose, the social justice ministry team seeks to nurture the vision of a faith that is relevant and public, and to practice such faith by doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with our God," which is, of course, Micah 6:8. As team members, we commit ourselves to follow the model of Jesus' prophetic ministry through social action, through work for social justice, and through education of ourselves, our church, and our community. We covenant with each other to be present and committed to our team endeavors, to practice principles of justice in all our relationships, to pray for each other, our team endeavors, and the persons we serve, to be seekers and speakers of truth and justice for our community, our nation, and our world, to work for peace locally and globally, and to serve on behalf of the powerless and vulnerable in society, the poor, the hungry, and the homeless, in order to relieve suffering and to empower others and ourselves. It was signed on August 14th by Pat Cole, Frank Vogon, myself, Nancy Howard, Ellen Massey, Margaret Graves, David Graves, Brent Williams, and William Johnson. As you can see, two of those wonderful people have moved on to better ground. But I'd like to tell you a couple of the things that we have done in the past. Is it okay? Am I okay? One thing is the Earth Walk. We sponsor the Earth Walk every year, and we get money enough money to give them so that we can have our Crescent Hill social justice team on the T-shirts that they give out. Joy Henry participates in this each year, as well as other church members. We welcomed our most recent refugee family, the Ribashis, to Louisville. It's wonderful to be able to say that they are doing beautifully well. They are doing so well in school and in jobs and in the home. We worked with KRM thanks to Adrienne Eisenmenger. This effort is a church-wide event thanks to each of you who have given in the past. Joy, Leslie, and Betty have been an integral part of preparing the home, buying groceries, and doing laundry for the family when they first arrived. And then Betty, our sweet Betty, has been a true friend to the family, visiting and taking the children on outings and to her home for cookie baking and other activities. Last summer, the church collected items for the new Ribashi baby, and we took a gift card to them in December for Christmas gifts for the kids. We also sponsor or work with La Casita, sponsoring and attending the annual Circle of Solidarity dinner, as well as other help our team members give to help in the center. David and Dale have done a lot helping with David, and not Dale, okay. David has done a lot to help in painting and other center needs. We also work with UCHM, including back to school supplies in August and Christmas Connection in November and December, as well as the financial and physical support that Crescent Hill gives in money and volunteering. There are several in our congregation that work with UCHM. Frank Vogon last year had a 6-week book study on how to be an anti-racist, and it was very well received, and we thank Frank for doing that for us. We have conducted vigils due to gun violence in our city, some of which were sponsored by Guns to Gardens Louisville. We've also had collections of coats and blankets and other items for KRM, UCHM, and other organizations. One important collection that we did that was so powerful, I thought, was that we all brought children's shoes, which were placed on the front steps at Crescent Hill on the Sunday following the Uvalde, Texas mass shooting in May 2022 that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. By the shoes were the names of the victims. It had been reported that some of the children could only be identified by their shoes. There were many passers-by that were touched by this display. The shoes were then donated to La Casita. Guns to Gardens Louisville, we have had 3 events in which Louisville residents are invited to voluntarily turn in guns that are chopped up on site and then later turned into garden tools, jewelry, and other items. Kat, Betty, and I are members of this group, and Frank, Kelly, Margaret, and David have attended the events to support the effort. 2 more events are being planned for this year. Moms Demand Action is another emphasis. Betty's a big supporter of this organization, which works towards sensible gun laws. She has endlessly tabled events to talk about sensible gun laws and canvassed and gone to events in Frankfurt, as well as marches and walks. Others in our congregation also support moms. Sierra Club, in the support of Burnham Forest, Joy and Doug have been advocates for environmental justice. Joy and her husband, Steve, are active Sierra Club members. I'm going to leave out some of these. David and I have worked with Interfaith Coalition for Immigrant Justice, in which we work with the Latinx community and La Casita to support them. We've had benefit concerts by Carrie Newcomer and John McCutcheon, which have benefited UCHM, Medwater, and others. We have talked about having another Carrie Newcomer benefit concert in the future. We participated in Peace Sunday in Advent, and we send a lot of correspondence and attend things in Frankfurt to help support social justice issues. We did have social justice movie nights one Friday a month, which was very enjoyable. We would watch a movie and then reflect on the social justice significance of the movies. We might reinitiate this activity if there is any interest. Our team publicizes current and upcoming social justice events in Crescent Hill Baptist Church, publications. If you know of any social justice event or issue that you would like to have addressed, please let one of our team members know. We work with the wonderful missions response team to coordinate some of our initiatives. We spend our budget to support these endeavors, but we do not do any of it without your support financially, materially, physically, and with your many prayers and other ways of support. We are always happy to add to our team. If you have a desire to join us, please let one of us know. On a personal note, my family instilled in me as I grew up with the ideals of giving. When I was a little girl, my grandmother taught me to pay it forward. Whenever she gave a gift and I couldn't reciprocate, she stated, just pass on a gift sometime to someone else. My parents never had a lot of money. However, they always said to give your money first to the church and you will always have enough for everything else. It has worked for me too. One of my father's phrases that I remember him saying over and over was that when he shared the little amount of change that he might have had in his pocket, he would say, that money was just burning a hole in my pocket. And he, of course, gave it to me, and he did without possibly a drink or something else for lunch that day. He worked as manager at Jacob Levy's, and he gave his discount to all of his family and friends. At Christmas, he delighted in delivering trees or money or small gifts to those who might not have anything to brighten their holidays. My mother opened her dinner table to so many, often unexpected guests who came in at supper time. It did not slip my notice that sometimes she did not have as much on her plate as everyone else. She also gave selflessly of our materials to others in need. As a sidebar, it seemed that she would give our toys away before we were even finished playing with them. But she said that the others needed them more than we did. My sisters and their husbands share and give generously to me and many others, both physically and emotionally. Their tips after dinners often are more than the actual tab itself. Social justice and caring for others were always addressed in our family. God loves a cheerful giver was certainly a philosophy my family embodied. This was shared with my sons who pass it forward. Thanks for letting us share what we do at Social Justice, and thanks for your help in supporting social justice in our church, our community, and our world. In closing, I would like to share a verse that sums up for me social justice and Christ's teachings. Matthew 25:35 through 40. For I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came to me. Then the righteous will answer him, saying, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you a drink? And when did we see you as a stranger and welcome you, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and visit you? And the king will answer, truly I say to you, as you did it to one of the least of these my brethren, you did it to me. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to, or we will be happy to answer anything you might have. Adrienne?
Thank you so much, Debbie, for sharing all the amazing work that your committee is doing and all the great work that's going on right now to prepare for a family who's going to come, I think, the week of March 11th. Is that correct? I was talking to Joseph, who Debbie was speaking of. He's a wonderful colleague of mine. He's very excited about all the work that Crescent Hill Baptist is doing in preparation for this family. But I know most of you, some of you I don't know. My name is Adrienne Eisenmenger, and I'm the Family and Youth Services Manager and a program leader at Kentucky Refugee Ministries, or KRM. Some people say KRM, some people say Kentucky Refugee Ministries. But we do the work of refugee resettlement and working with a lot of immigrants here in our community. And our work spans from everything from picking up people at the airport who are refugee clients who are starting their lives here in the U.S. to providing services to refugees who've moved from other states to Kentucky, We call them secondary migrants. We also have a specialized program that we work with the U.S. government to work with children who cross the border unaccompanied, who are being resettled here in Louisville also, which is a whole new program for us that we just started about a year and a half ago, all the way to immigration and legal services for any immigrants and refugees in the community to citizenship. So we're doing this very expansive work that requires a lot of community partnerships and a lot of people just like you who want to kind of get in, meet people, and be that source of welcome for someone who's new. So Debbie's given you a lot of great information. I'm going to give you some information kind of, I think someone said kind of the state of KRM and where we're at right now, because things have changed a lot. Over the last 4 years, the pandemic's really changed our world. Also, we've had a different president over the last 4 years who really has restarted the refugee program. It was almost ground to a complete halt under our former president, and also due to the pandemic. And so the growth has been staggering. So I want to talk a little bit about that tonight. I can talk in depth about our services and what we do if you would like. I'm really here as a resource to you. So I want to answer any questions that you might have toward the end, but let me just give you a snapshot of where things are with KRM and then also national refugee